Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and a new video. I thought I'd do a winter evening routine now that the clocks have changed. So here it is. Let's get on with today's video. So guys, as soon as I get to the yard, I change my little welly boots into my yard boots. I get some treats. Oh, dropped one there. I get some treats. So these are the Amiga toffee apple treats. And I pop them in my pocket for getting Zeusy in. I then grab his head collar, get that over, and let's head down to the field to go and get the boy. So here we are. As you can tell, we have had a lot of rain here in the UK over the last sort of week to 10 days. So the ground is pretty muddy. So I think everybody in the UK at the moment is desperate for the spring weather to kind of improve and for this mud to kind of go away. This is certainly the wettest it's been all winter. We had quite a dry December and January and February, to be fair, but yeah, March has been relentless with some rain. But as you can tell, Zeus has just stood in the mud. So when I bring him in, the first thing that I do before I take him round to his stable is I quickly hose his legs off. This is because we have quite clay mud, so it sticks to his coat and his hair, and I find that if I don't hose his legs off and keep them clean, that he gets mud fever. Some people prefer not to wash them. I feel that he works better when I do. Plus he wears his overreach boots all the time when out in the field, just to stop him from overreaching and pulling any shoes off or injuring himself. They obviously get quite muddy in this weather, and the mud kind of clumps underneath his feet. So again, I just want to make sure that his feet are clean when he comes into his stable, because he's on shavings. His feet will dry overnight whilst in the stable anyway. But yeah, so I take off both overreach boots and kind of take off the most of the dirt and the mud that I can. Oh, I'm taking the overreach boot with me there. But yeah, so I just kind of hose him from sort of his knees down, really, just to kind of like keep his legs clean, because I know in the mornings I'm going to be riding him. So I want to make sure that when I put his brushing boots on as well, there's no kind of like trapped dirt or anything underneath that's going to cause him any rubs. Obviously I will groom him before I ride him in the morning, but just to kind of like make my life slightly easier, I guess. But yeah, so I give them a good hose down, check for any lumps or bumps or any injuries and things that horses get out in the field, and then once I'm happy that all of his feet are clean and that he's kind of quite tidy, sometimes I'll hose his tail as well, because sometimes that gets caught in the mud. Then I'll work on kind of cleaning both my boots and also Zeus's overreach boots as well, because like I said, they do get quite muddy, and I find that also the mud clumps in the Velcro, which then also means that they're not as sticky. So obviously in the morning I'll put them on and they'll be nice and clean, and the Velcro will be clean, so I've got less chance of him losing them. Once he's all done and once the boots are all cleaned, I'll bring him back round to outside his stable, where I give him a little stroke there, bless him, and I tie him up. He knows I've got some treats in my pocket. He's after my pocket. So I give him a treat, and then I'll grab his little hay bucket. This hay bucket, me and Zeus have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it. I like to give Zeus his hay in a bucket so that it kind of stays quite clean, because he doesn't really eat out of nets or anything. In his stable he has a hay bar, so I like to kind of keep him eating his hay quite naturally, and he's not really a horse that kind of like eats too much. He'll eat what he wants and then leave any more that he doesn't want. So but this bucket he throws around with his nose, which you'll see. He'll throw it around with his nose in a minute and push it towards me. This is what happens all the time. I end up always putting it back, and we end up disagreeing on where the bucket should be placed. But anyway, so once I've brought him in and I've got his hay and everything, I'll quickly pick out his feet. Again, because the fields are quite muddy at the moment, there's not an awful lot. See, kicking the bucket or throwing the bucket. There's not an awful lot of mud at the moment in their feet, so this is quite a quick process of just sort of taking out the mud or any stones or anything, and just making sure that he's not going into his stable with any stones in his feet, really. On this particular day, it was quite a quick job, but I like to put gloves on because obviously I've just hosed his feet and it was a little bit chilly. I didn't want to kind of get my cold hands, and I'm pushing his bucket back. He still knows that I've got treats in my pocket, so he really wants one of those as well. But anyway, once his feet are picked out and he's all sorted, I can take his rug off. And when I take his rug off, this is just a 50-gram turnout rug. Normally he has been in a lightweight, but again, because we've been having quite a lot of rain over the last few days, I've been putting him in this 50-gram just to kind of give him a little bit more protection from the rain and also the wind. We've had quite high winds here at the moment as well, but as you can tell, when it rains he likes to roll, and this rug is muddy. So I'm looking forward to giving this a good clean and taking it to the dry cleaners in the spring once the weather breaks, and he won't need to go back into it. But anyway, I put my rug over this little rug rail that my boyfriend Chris kindly put up for me over Christmas. It's been a bit of a godsend really, because it does dry the rugs overnight as well. This rug was obviously it was obviously dry when I brought him in, but obviously if it had rained, they do dry overnight there, and it just means that when Zeus can have his pajamas on at night and he's not sort of stood in a wet rug. So once I've taken the rug off, I can then get on to grooming him. So I'll put some mane and tail conditioner, because again his tail was quite dusty and muddy, same with his mane from where he'd been rolling. I always put some mane and tail on first before I start pulling at their mane. It just kind of gets through the knots a bit easier. And what I do is I put this on before I start any other form of grooming, because I feel that the mane and tail conditioner works better if you just leave it a few minutes to kind of sink into the coat and into the hair and the tail and the mane, and I just feel that it goes through it much easier then. But this is just me flicking over Zeusy with the magic brush, just getting off the kind of worst of the dirt where he's been rolling, and obviously because I hosed him from kind of his knees or his hocks down, just the top part and kind of along his flank and stuff. I also like to try and get the inside of their legs and make sure their belly is done again, because obviously they get mud splats from if they've been cantering around in the field, and I just kind of think to myself, it must be a little bit uncomfortable if they have like bits of mud, because it kind of clumps in their hair, especially as Zeusie's obviously fully clipped. I just kind of think it'll be a bit like, it will just pull on the coat, which might be a bit uncomfortable for them. So I always like to make sure I give him a bit of a groom and a pamper before I put him into his stable. And as you can tell on this side, Zeus had a bit of a ball rolling. There's dust on that. But yeah, so I use my plastic curry comb where I can, but when I've got a big mud patch like this one, I kind of bring out the metal curry comb, which just gives me a little bit more force, but as you can tell, I only use very gentle motions with it. And again here, I'm just grooming down Zeus's leg to get all the mud off, and I'll do that all across his body as well, just to make sure that he's perfectly clean and tidy. Give that another little bit on his back leg a go, and then once I've kind of done all the curry combing and taken the worst of the dirt off, I'll just flick him over with the dandy brush just to get the dirt away from him. And then once all of that's kind of done, it's a very quick process. It's a very light groom. I then get on with brushing his mane and his tail, and again I'm going to ride him in the morning, so I do like to make sure he's quite tidy, but obviously I will give him another groom in the morning before I ride, because it's good for them. But yeah, so once I have groomed the mane and the tail, I then set on putting Zeus's magnetic boots. Now these are the Equestrian magnetic boots. I ordered these a couple of months ago, and these are fantastic. They are brilliant, and these are actually on an offer at the moment, so I am going to be able to get you guys a 10% off code, and I will pop a YouTube short, Instagram and a TikTok for that, so look out for that if you guys are interested. These are great for Zeusy. This is just how they go on. They're really easy. They're magnetic, so you put them on each opposite foot, and the magnets kind of work at keeping the swelling down. They are honestly have been a bit of a godsend for Zeusy. They are brilliant boots, and I would recommend them to anyone. But yeah, I'm going to do a video on those soon, so please look out for that. Here I thought I'd give Zeusy some cuddles, but as you can tell, he thought I was trying to get him to go back, which I wasn't. I just wanted him to give him a little bit of a cuddle before I popped him in his stable. But yeah, I enjoy spending time with my little boy. Like I said, I've put his bucket away, his hay bucket and everything away, because he's finished. He knows he's going in for his dinner now. But before I pop him in his stable for his dinner, I just grab his stable rug and pop his little stable rug on. I like to call these his pajamas. And you know, he's kind of like, they're nice and soft. These ones he's actually had since he was about 5 or 6, and so he's had these for a really long time, so excuse the poo on them. Zeus does like to sleep in these in his stable. I find that he sleeps more when I put him in his pajamas than what I do in a turnout rug. But yeah, so here he is. I'm just doing the belly straps up, and he's all ready for bed. He's looking, going, "Mummy, come on, I want my dinner, I want my dinner." Bless him. But anyway, I thought I'd quickly leave you here. I'm just going to put him into his stable now that he's all ready to go in. And I'll show you what he's like when he's in his stable. So Zeus is now in, and my head collar is all tied up with my lead rope. My rug is all tied up. Zeus has got his bands on and his pyjamas on, and he's playing with his ballie, and he's got his hay there. I need to put another bucket in his water, and then that's where his feed's going to go in a minute. His mash is over here, and as you can see, I put it in the light, it's all ready. So I've just got to give that a stir and put that in his feed, which I'll go and do now. Okay guys, so now Zeus's mash is all ready and he's in his stable. The first thing I do is I cut up an apple for him and pop that in his feed. I just use one whole apple that I get from Aldi, which is like basically just like our local supermarket. I get them from my weekly shop, so Zeusy has something from our weekly shop every week. So yeah, so I put the knife away and then I kind of give the mash a bit of a stir. So I have actually 3 feed buckets, so I only make feeds kind of once every 3 days basically. So what I do is I tend to do the mash, and once I give the mash a bit of a stir and everything, it's all ready to go. So I just pop that straight into his feed there. That's it. So with this mash, this is actually a 60-second mash. It's the Spiller's Speedy Mash, and it has like an apple aroma. It smells really, really good, and Zeus absolutely loves it. But it soaks in 60 seconds, which is really convenient because I just tend to just pop the water in when I get to the yard, and then by the time I've brought Zeusy in and done everything, it's ready to go and pop in his feed. And then once I've given it all a good stir with the apple and the mash, I basically will pop under my little stall guard thing that I've got there, and then just pop it into the corner manger. So I asked Zeusy to go back a little bit just for manners and for him to be a good boy. And then he goes straight in and has his dinner. I always like to give him a good pat as well when he eats his dinner, to tell him that he's a good boy and that he's all ready for the evening. And then the next thing I do, whilst I wait for him to finish his dinner, I just kind of sit in my stable and catch up with my TikToks, really. Nothing massively exciting. But yeah, so this is me just sat in Zeus's stable waiting for him to eat, because I like to make sure he's eating all his dinner before. But anyway, that's my evening routine, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!